y'all, it's me Alex. Today I have my March-April 2020 favorites video. I have a whole bunch of stuff to show y'all. Mostly stuff that I bought before the plague happened. My birthday was in April. A lot of things have changed in March and or April for me and for the rest of the world. So I have many things to talk about. My first favorite actually has to be my new apartment, which I'm very, very happy about. I really love it. We live in a really good area, a good neighborhood that has plenty of room for walking. It's not super loud. For a post-grad apartment, it is surprisingly big and livable, and I really like that. My only real complaint is that the smoke detector in my kitchen is way too close to the stove/oven, and I'm a very good cook, but there have been a few alarms that have gone off since I moved here. But anyway, aside from that, I'm going to talk about some of the makeup that I've been loving. I also have a couple of media-ish things, like non-makeup favorites. I also have something stuck in my lipstick. Anyway, whatever. I'm just gonna get started. Now, my first favorite is actually something that you wouldn't expect to be my favorite, but it is a technique/thing I've just kind of been doing since quarantine and all of that, and it's basically that I figured out a way to use this god-awful teal eyeshadow that had previously until this moment had been disappointing me to no end. Now, up until this moment, I had been using the Distinction Cosmetics Eyebrow Gel Liner, which I still absolutely love, and if you are looking to find a good brow product right now, please go give them your money. They are fabulous and I love them, and they're all vegan and they're indie and they're great. Right now, while I still have plenty of product left, it is dried up. Now, someone had mentioned that I should try contact lens solution, which I absolutely will. It's just that I have not been able to get any, and there are other places that I would like to be spending my money at the moment, like groceries. So I have not quite gotten to that point yet where I have been able to acquire contact lens solution. So instead, since I have been staying outside, I've been staying inside, I have decided that since I'm not sweating a whole lot, I'm not moving around too much in the way that I would a normal day if the world was normal right now, I can use eyeshadow. So I've been using the shade Meltdown from the Melt Radioactive palette. Now, as I've said before, this shade, when you apply it to the eyes, is absolute garbage, but it's very pigmented and it does quite well for my brows. It is very easy to work with when it comes to that. Since I have been using it on the brows, it doesn't quite matter as much if the blend is perfect because it's supposed to mimic your natural hairs. Now, obviously this isn't my natural hair color, but y'all will never know that, so who cares? And I quite like the way my brows have been looking. They're still not my favorite. It is a little bit dark for my hair as my hair has been fading. And I do have some hair dye left, but I'm really trying to make it last, you know, so I'll do that when I do that, and y'all will just have to not care about the back of my head. I've been really loving that specific shade in this palette, and I love that I figured out a way to use it since it is objectively the worst shade in this palette, so it's quite good. Next, this was definitely in my last favorites video, but I wanted to mention it because it has been bringing me a lot of joy. It is also from Melt Cosmetics, and it is their Muerte palette. This came out with their Christmas collection. I was like the last person in the world to review this palette, but Jesus Christ, just like look at this thing. It is beautiful, and when I have had my makeup days where I want to do something that I know will make me happy when I've been feeling really down and really depressed, because guess what? That happens a lot when you stay inside all the time. I've been pulling this palette out because every single look I've ever done with this palette, I love how it looks. I love the combination between the reds and the teals and the blues. It just makes me happy beyond belief. I love using Kalaka as a highlight shade when I want to. I love this because every single time I use it, I just feel so incredibly happy. It brings me a lot of joy to use it, and so I know when I am feeling down, when I don't feel like doing much. Like, there was this time where I hadn't worn makeup in at least a week because of moving and quarantine and everything just really getting to me. And then I made myself set up my vanity, and I made myself whip out some makeup, and I made myself use this palette. And basically every single day since then, whether y'all see it or not, I have been doing my makeup every single day because this really brought me back so much inspiration, and it's just such good quality. If you're able to get your hands on this and you haven't and you're interested in it, I don't know how you haven't, because I like I said, I'm the last person in the world to have possibly gotten it. Get it. Next, last month I bought a whole bunch of, well, not a whole bunch, but a whole bunch for me because I don't buy single shadows. I bought a whole bunch of single shadows. I got 2 from Sugar Pill. I got Butter Cupcake and what is this shade? Arsenic. Now I haven't actually used Arsenic just because the mood hasn't quite struck me just yet, but I've been loving Butter Cupcake, both as a transition shade, but also because everyone on the internet has finally convinced me to do yellow blush. I tried it out and it actually looked pretty good, and Butter Cupcake is a pretty good shadow for that. I just really needed a good quality yellow eyeshadow, and aside from the Fun Size palette, I hadn't tried any Sugar Pill shadows before. Why hadn't I? Because this one is fantastic and I do not regret it at all. The other 3 shades in this palette are the Shroud Cosmetics Moonfall Trio, and I talked about how the Melt Muerte palette just brings me so much joy, and that is exactly how I feel about this little trio. I love Shroud Cosmetics and their eyeshadow formula. Before they became Shroud Cosmetics, they were Strobe Cosmetics, and I had actually discovered them through their little American Horror Story collection where they made 2 palettes that were all shimmers, and so I was very excited when I saw this trio come out because, are these very old? Yes. Do I love them anyway? Yes, because these are some of the best, most metallic and beautiful shimmers I've ever tried. And I'm not sure if they had changed the formula or anything, but I think that these shades very, very much mimic the metallic formula in their Hotel and Freak Show palettes. I'm not going to open up the Freak Show one because there is a very, very busted shade in there because their shimmers are very, very soft. I think that is something that they did improve upon with this collection because they're very soft, but these I feel like I have to have a little bit more carefulness in order to not damage the structural integrity of the palettes, whereas with these shades, no, I'm not going to be tossing them around everywhere, but I'm less worried about traveling with these shades than I am the ones in the Hotel and Freak Show palettes. But these shades, I'm going to swatch them because they're so fucking beautiful. Look at that. Those are stunning. I love pairing these with my Subculture palette when I whip that out. I actually used the blue shade for a final for one of my classes, and I got very, very good feedback on that when I presented. So yeah, this is just, these are just absolutely gorgeous, and I would love to play with them more on camera and just in general. And then finally, as far as eyeshadow palettes go, I'm going to talk about the one I'm wearing on my eyes, which is the Nabla Dreamy 2 palette. Now this one I've obviously had for less of a time than I've had the other palettes in this video, but I still really wanted to mention it because while I haven't had it as long as the others, I do feel like I've gotten a decent feel for this. Now, I might retract this, so this is maybe a tentative favorites, but I really like it. And now this one is very, very shimmer heavy, which is not entirely what I'm used to when it comes to eyeshadow. I generally prefer a palette that has about an equal number of mattes and shimmers. Given the style of the looks that I've been able to do with this palette, I really do appreciate the shimmers in this. Now, the mattes are very, very creamy and blendable, and I've had a lot of good luck with them as well. Everything about this palette just makes me so happy. Everything blends so well. I haven't had any trouble with anything going on this, and I think that is really great, and I think it is really a testament to Nabla's formula because a lot of these shades, you know, they're more on the purpley and they're more on the smoky end, which I know with some palettes, as someone who is a bit of a connoisseur of like purple and smoky eyeshadow, a lot of brands don't actually do that right, and they definitely got this right in this one. One of the coolest shades in this is a shade Offline because it very much looks like a black shade in the palette, but once you actually, I think I mentioned this in my first impressions video, once you actually like apply it and swatch it, it becomes this very, very beautiful eggplant, and I think that's really cool. I think these shadows just wear very well, and I really love the looks that I've come out with this, so very good favorite. I also purchased some glitters from Slayfire Cosmetics because I had really wanted to amp up my collection because I have their entire Crypt Fairy collection that they did around this time last year, and I wanted to try some of their other like collaborations and other glitters, and I haven't tried all of the, well, I've swatched all of the ones that I've gotten, but I haven't applied all of the ones that I've gotten, but I do want to show off my favorite so far, which is in the shade Bitchin. It's like a bitchin, but with a Q, where it could be referring to my big chin. But anyway, if you look at it in the pan, it just looks like this white glitter. But if you get it in a very nice light and once you know, swatch it and stuff, you'll realize that it has a little bit of a beautiful shift to it. And see, that is what that looks like. You can really see just... It's so cute. It's like, has a little bit of purpley blue holographic reflect, and I really love just like putting it on my inner corner, especially over like a purple or blue look. That was also something that I used in my final project for one of my classes. I conveniently didn't mention the name of it, that it was Biction, but like I said, I got very good feedback on it. So, and Slayfire is a really great company. I feel like not enough people on YouTube talk about them. They're a biodegradable glitter gel company. And I'm not a huge glitter person because of how messy glitters can be, but the way that they do it, honestly, these are some of the easiest to apply glitters. You don't need a glitter glue. I do use a glitter glue with them if one of the shades I have is a little bit older and a little bit more dry, but it really doesn't require that for their product. I've been able to do glitter cut creases with this, no problem. And they just generally make really good product. They are at a very affordable price. You can get different sizes of their glitters because, you know, glitter is something that is very difficult to go through, so you can get whatever size that you want so that way you don't waste it. They're also owned by a queer person of color, which is also very important to me when it comes to the brands that I shop from. So overall, I think they're just a really great brand, and they have a wide variety of all the different kinds of glitters that you want. And this is not sponsored, I just really like them. Okay, now let's get into the fact that I've been wearing a lot of cream blushes. The first one is one that I bought this month. Well, actually, all three of them are things that I bought since like in March to April. Why can't I be normal? Anyway, the first one that I'm gonna mention is this Milk Makeup Mini Lip and Cheek in Work, W-E-R-K. I got this at the mall while I was home for spring break before everything went down. It was something that I was looking at for a long time. There is only one left at Sephora. This is what it looks like. It is your standard universal-ish flattering pinky mauve, and I love the way it is formulated. I love stick blushes, especially in, like, of all the ways that a cream blush could be held, I would like for it to be held in a stick when I apply it to my face. I can deal with the other formulas of a cream or liquid blush, but the stick formula is objectively the best and easiest to apply, so Milk Makeup wins that round. So I quite like it because it does look pretty good with just about every single look that I do. It has never looked bad. I like the formula. I don't really need to set it down. It doesn't fade from my skin as much throughout the day as some of the other blushes that I have tried, and it is quite good. Nextly, I have to mention the Milani Cheek Kiss in Nude Flush. Now this one is a little bit of a lighter shade, but I am a big fan of nude blushes. Aside from when I tried Butter Cupcake as a blush, I'm not that adventurous in the blush department. But this one is a little bit more browny, a little bit more nude. This is what it looks like. Now this one, I will say, out of all of the cream blushes that I own, this one is the most sheer because it is more of a liquid rather than a cream. You can still definitely build it up, but if I do just like one layer of it with a sponge, you can barely see it. You really do have to build this one up. But I do think Milani has a very great formula, and I would love to get this in some of the other shades because they do have a wide variety of shades, but I think with this formula, for someone who is like me and isn't an adventurous blush person, I think that would go incredibly well, since the other shades would hopefully, likely, if they're like this one, probably be just as sheer. I think that would go quite well. And then lastly, I purchased the FNT Beauty Cream Blush in Rosé Latte, which looks like this in the pan. Now this is a little bit deeper than the other two shades of blush that I am mentioning. However, I really do appreciate that it is a bit deeper with this formula because this formula can be sheared out very well, and that is what that looks like. And kind of like with these other two shades, like, you can definitely see that there's a difference when I swatch them, but they're really, in the grand scheme of things, are they that different? Am I just possibly buying the same thing over and over? Maybe, but I really do like this formula. If it wasn't in a stick, I like this too because I can just apply it with my fingers, and I think that goes quite well. I kind of just do like little boop, boop, boop. And then I just like blend it out with a sponge, and I think it looks quite nice. When you look at it in the pan, you would think it would be a bit deep for someone with my skin tone, but since I do it on a little bit more of a sheer side, I'm able to blend it out to what would be the most flattering on me. I probably could almost like do a cool like blush draping contour-y type effect with this, but that'll have to be on a day when people won't see me because it scares me. I have one more cheek product that I need to mention that I'm wearing as my highlight today, and that is ColourPop Flexitarian. Now, I had heard so many people raving about this, and I always was just like, okay, I'll get it one day, you know, if I need free shipping from ColourPop. You know, just, I don't care for this. Why didn't I get this sooner? Why don't you make better decisions, Alex? Which is also something God says to me on a regular basis. Anyway, look at this. This is what that looks like. It is very like a goldy pearly metallic. I'm wearing it on my cheekbones right now. Look at that gleam. Look at that glow. I love it. I love it. I love it. And you can also do a little bit of a lighter application of it if you use a brush, but you know, I'm a bit extra, so I don't use a brush. I got this for free shipping at Ulta when I ordered my Nabla Dreamy 2 palette for my birthday, and this was quite a good decision, and I like it a lot. I am not a huge fan of the Super Shock shadows, despite the fact that my skin is naturally pretty dry. My lids are oily as fuck, and so Super Shock shadows don't quite work well for me. But for someone who's a little bit more on the dry skin side, I think the texture of this works quite well. I love how it looks. It can look very metallic and extra. It can look just kind of like natural and dewy. It's good. It's real good. Time to talk about my 2 lip favorites for this month. Both of these have been mentioned before, but I will mention them again because we're trying to use what we have here, my friends. And that is, the first one that I'm going to show y'all is the Milani More Matte Lip Cream in Loved. Now, I have fallen back in love with this. It's funny because it's called Love, but this is what I'm wearing right now. I've fallen back in love with this after I bought it like 1 or 2 summers ago looking for a Lolita 2 dupe from Kendo Vegan to Makeup. And I quite like this. I think it is a very lovely nude. I've been wearing this on a couple of Zoom job interviews I've had over the last month or so. And in the couple of interviews I've had very good results and calling back rates. So I'm just saying that this lipstick has been doing me real good. I think it's pretty comfortable to wear. Not everyone is still on the matte liquid lipstick train, and I get that, but I still very much am because I love this. I think this is a lot more comfortable than some of the other matte liquid lipsticks that exist out there. I also love the smell of this because it smells kind of like a buttercream lip smacker. So it's quite good and it's very inexpensive, and I just think that this is a very, very lovely shade. And then the other one, I think I also meant, this one might have been in my last favorites video too, but it is the e.l.f. Tinted Lip Oil in Nude Kiss, and I really like it. It is just like it's a tinted lip oil. It isn't anything particularly like groundbreaking. I do like it because unlike the Ulta Beauty one, which I really like and I thought it looked very flattering on me, I still have it, but I haven't worn it in a long time because it has started to smell weird. This one, no matter how much I've used it, hasn't smelled weird, and I like it too because I'm officially out of lip balm and I do not wish to buy more at the moment. But since this is a lip oil, I can use this basically in the same way that I would use a lip balm, and I think it's quite nice. It isn't like necessarily groundbreaking, but it is something that I would actively recommend, that if you're looking for just kind of something a little glossy, a little bit neutral, a little bit natural, goes with just about anything else that you could put on your face, I highly recommend this lip gloss oil. Now I'm going to go into some non-beauty favorites. The first one is for all y'all ladies out there with inappropriate coping mechanisms like me, and that is the earrings that I'm wearing right now, which I'll take one off and put it up near the camera. They're Little Plague Doctor masks. Here. Can you see it? Probably not because the camera's autofocus is shit. But I love them. My parents got me an Etsy gift card for my birthday, but these are very, very comfortable. I like them because I have a lot of earrings. I'm an earring aficionado. I love bold stuff. I love weird stuff. I love funky stuff. And I like these because are they still weird? Absolutely. But are they a little bit more subtle? Perhaps a bit more workplace appropriate for whenever I have a workplace? Absolutely. And they're nice and bronzy, and they are, I think they go with just about everything, and I quite like those, so very lovely. Also, Animal Crossing New Horizons came out on March 20th, just in time for the plague and for everyone to have to stay inside. I am loving Animal Crossing New Horizons. It has brought me so much joy. I've been doing very well. I've just been noticing how both similar and different the gameplay was from when I used to play Wild World on my Nintendo DS, which I know I have my Nintendo DS here, and I might also hop that up sometime once my finals are finished just to see, you know, just compare the two games. Sorry, I had to go delete some shit off my camera because I talk too much. But I have really been loving Animal Crossing, in that it brings back so much nostalgia. It is so relaxing. It is very much something that if I wanted to, I could play it for hours on end, or I could just check in on it when I need a break during the day, and I just really like it. I have noticed one of the main differences between me playing it now and me playing it when I was a kid. I was just like so nervous about the game when I was a kid. And I think this is a part of growing up. Like I was terrified of Resetti the mole, also terrified of tarantulas or basically offending any villager accidentally. Still terrified of accidentally offending any villager because that's exactly how all of my fictional interactions go. Also my real life ones, because social anxiety, yay. But I have been taking advantage of the Tarantula Island, and also I just got red in my town. Let's see, it was like 3 days ago. I didn't play much with the paintings when I was a kid, but now I'm kind of like, I'm into it. I'm also into the stock market with the turnips. Like, Jesus Christ, who am I? Am I an adult now? With like fictional investments? Probably. Fictional investments in my quarantine? It's more likely than you think. I also started watching the show Lucifer with Case, which is a great quarantine show. You wouldn't expect that a theology student would like Lucifer all that much, but I think Lucifer's pretty damn good. I'm not super far into it, but it has been bringing me like just the right level of engaging entertainment that I really need, so I quite like that. Yeah, I think I'm out of things to say, and I would quite like to be done with filming, so I'm going to stop. Anyway, just let me know down below what you've been loving over the last couple months since we've talked about favorites last. And thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe down below if you want to see more videos from me. And I will see y'all in my next one. I hope you'll have a wonderful day. Bye!